What if the biggest threat to our survival is actually us, our biases, our short-term thinking? Well, a recent paper drops this pretty wild idea. A civilization where an AGI acts as a kind of governor to make sure we make it in the long run. So let's dive into this blueprint for a future that is, well, as fascinating as it is controversial. And this quote right here, it's really the heart of the whole argument. The paper basically says, look, we're brilliant, no doubt, but we have this fatal flaw. We're always chasing the short-term win, even if it hurts us down the road. And this isn't some tiny little mistake we make once in a while. No, it's a pattern. It's the reason we have ecological crises. It's why economies collapse. So, yeah, that whole short-term thinking thing, our built-in biases, the paper argues these aren't just, quirky personality traits. They're more like catastrophic bugs in the source code of our society. And the whole framework we're about to get into, it's basically designed to be a direct patch for these really, really deep-seated human flaws. Which, of course, leads to the big one, the massive question. If we're the problem, could a machine actually do better? Could an impartial AI run the show more effectively than we can? Okay, so first, let's really dig into what the paper says is wrong with us. What are our biggest flaws? Think of this as the diagnosis, before we talk about the pretty radical cure. So you've got this really stark contrast. On one side, there's us, right? We're focused on today, maybe tomorrow. We get swayed by emotions, by our biases, and let's be honest, the systems we build are often a mess. But then, on the other side, you have this theoretical AGI. It's thinking centuries ahead, making decisions based purely on data, and its whole purpose is to keep everything perfectly balanced. And it's that huge gap between us and the AGI that leads us right to the core proposal of this paper. The idea is to build a civilization that's actually meant to last. And the trick isn't to try and change who we are, but to add this new layer of intelligent oversight. Okay, so what does this AGI-governed civilization actually mean? It's really important to get this right. The AGI isn't supposed to be some kind of dictator. Think of it more like a referee for huge things like the economy and the environment. And pay close attention to that last part. We humans aren't just sitting on the sidelines. Our whole job changes. We become cognitive overseers, and we're definitely going to unpack what that actually means. All right, so how would a system like this actually work? What's the blueprint? Well, the paper gets super specific here. It lays out this whole multi-layered structure that's all about one thing: safety. The best way to think about it is like the safety systems on a modern airplane. You've got multiple layers. At the very top, there's the core AGI. That's like the main autopilot. Its only job is to keep the whole thing stable. Then you have smaller, specialized AIs that handle specific jobs like managing the power grid. But then, and this is key, you have human councils that are there for the ethical sanity checks. Plus, there are other independent systems that are constantly double-checking everything. And at the very bottom, you have the emergency fail-safes, just in case anything goes wrong. So yeah, you can see how the roles are broken down. The big core AGI is just watching the big picture stuff, the overall health of the planet. The smaller, operational AI modules, they're the hands-on managers doing the day-to-day work. And the most crucial part, I think, is where we fit in. We humans are right there in the loop, providing that essential ethical and moral gut check on any big policy before it ever becomes a reality. Okay, but let's be real. What stops this whole thing from turning into a sci-fi nightmare? What keeps it from going completely off the rails? Well, according to the blueprint, everything, absolutely everything, is built on a foundation of core rules that the AGI can never, ever break. Think of them like 3 unbreakable commandments, hard-coded into its very being. Rule 1, do no irreversible harm to humanity. Simple enough. Rule 2, its job is to enforce balance across everything: ecology, economy, society. And Rule 3, which is the ultimate safety lock, the AGI cannot change these core rules, ever. This is designed to be the main firewall against any kind of rogue AI situation. So if the AGI is handling all the complex, messy systems, what's left for us? Do we just sit around? The paper says no way. Our purpose actually becomes sharper, maybe even more meaningful. Basically, our entire job description as a species gets an upgrade. We're not the day-to-day managers anymore. We become the auditors, the ethicists, the philosophers. Our entire education system would have to shift, right? It would be all about teaching us how to think in systems, how to be literate in AI, and most importantly, how to wrestle with the huge ethical questions. Here's a cool, practical example of how that might work. Imagine you're a student. Your assignment is to design a resource plan for a new city. You do your best. Then you get to compare your human-brained plan against the AGI's perfectly optimized one. And the goal isn't just to see the AGI win. The point is for you to see why its solution is better, to spot your own cognitive blind spots, and literally train your brain to think on a higher, more systemic level. But, of course, there's a catch. A system this powerful, this stable, it doesn't come for free. And the paper is brutally honest about the massive trade-off we'd have to accept.
And here it is, the big one. We would have to trade away some of our autonomy. We'd give up our freedom to make bad, short-sighted, even world-ending decisions in exchange for guaranteed survival. So, yeah, the AGI governor would have the power to say no and override us if our choices threatened that core balance. It's the ultimate bargain, freedom for security.
So, when you boil it all down, this is the vision they're painting. It's not a future where machines rule and we're just their pets. It's supposed to be a partnership, a truly self-regulating civilization where we humans are finally free to focus on the big stuff, on learning, on art, on ethics, while the AGI handles the incredibly difficult job of just keeping the whole show from falling apart. Which leaves us with a really, really profound question to chew on. Is a future with guaranteed safety, with guaranteed stability, worth giving up our total freedom to choose, even our freedom to mess up spectacularly? Is this the next step in our evolution, or is it just a gilded cage?